And joining me tonight is Nicole.
Hi there.
And Mama K.
It's Madre to you.
Yeah. Oh, she wants to be up by her Espanol name, Madre. Which sounds weird to people who don't know. That's actually what I call her in regular life. I don't call her mom. Or whatever regular call their mother. I call her Madre.
Madre
anyway,
and Padre.
Yeah, that's what I call you guys. We are not Hispanic of any sort, but that is just what I've chosen to do. So, tonight we are doing a catch-up show. A show that we started a couple of months ago, and I've grown fond of the format because it gives us an opportunity to all talk about new things we saw, which is generally either new movies or new movies on streaming, like ones that popped back up on streaming. And really, that's what's most valuable to people, is either stuff that's brand new in theaters, or, and even honestly more likely for most people these days, what's the algorithm is feeding them. Because if we saw it and it's streaming somewhere, you probably saw it somewhere on your thing. But going to do the catch up on the movies, catch up on the TV, and everything we've seen basically in March and April that we haven't already covered in theaters. Or in theaters, in regular reviews. So anyone want to start? Mama K, have you seen anything recently worth discussing to kick us off?
Looking at my list, it's kind of thin and sad when it comes to movies, but I'm on the comedy / rom-com wagon right now. I just don't want to think about anything super serious, and after Civil War, I felt like I needed the break. So
it feels like a lifetime ago that we talked about that, but yeah.
Does it? It kind of does, but God, that's a movie that sticks with you, right? So, and especially everything that's going on right as we're speaking, it's kind of
after 3 watches, I gave it I don't know if I said on the thing, it's a 5-star movie for me. I give 1 or 2 of those out a year typically. I'm pretty tight with my 5 stars, but it earned it.
I think on your 3rd watch, you were supposed to be going to see something else that we were going to go see, and then you were just like, no.
Because it sucked. We were watching, I guess, I don't know. Well, I don't know if you saw it. I guess we can talk about it's new. It's the new Guy Ritchie movie, which we like Guy Ritchie movies typically. It was the League, the Gentlemanly Warfare League. The League of Gentlemanly Warfare. It was, yeah. And it was a Nazi killing movie, and it's like a secret group, and it's like an Inglourious Basterds kind of thing, but I don't know. I was watching the first 45 minutes, and I was just like, I'm going to kick myself for not seeing Civil War again in theaters. I would just, this is I've seen this before 8 times better. I just need to go watch Civil War a 3rd time. So, yeah, no, that's a good way to rate it.
Yeah, we did not end up seeing it. So, it's still something that I'll probably see at some point, but I'm probably not going to race to the theater.
I'll finish it when it's on streaming, but yeah, I don't need to. That's kind of how I felt. I'm like, I'll just finish the rest of this. I get it. I know the big buff guy and Henry Cavill, I don't like him. Or I don't care about that guy. Okay, I get it. So I'll just come back to this and finish this later,
Your dad calls him Henry Clavel, and it drives me absolutely
Clavel?
nuts.
Like clavicle?
Yes. And he knows. Obviously, I've probably said it 12 dozen times that it's not Clavel, it's Cavill. There's no L, and he just, sometimes he just can't stop doing those kind of things. Anyway, so my first movie in the genre that I'm talking about is I don't remember the name of it. This is going to be great. The Jennifer Lawrence movie.
Oh my god, No Strings Attached?
No Strings Attached.
No, that's not what it's called. It's called No Hard Feelings.
Well, that one sounds right too.
It's called No Hard Feelings. I was just throwing out. It's that No Strings Attached to the Ashton Kutcher Mila Kunis movie.
Oh right, yeah, but
I was making a larger point, but you get it. No Hard Feelings is the actual title.
Yeah, and you probably haven't seen it, but I think that it doesn't really matter what the name of it is.
Nicole and I reviewed this. I think we both liked this movie.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how did I miss that? What's wrong?
Well, give us your thoughts on it now.
Because you probably thought it was the Mila Kunis one.
Yeah, you're like, did I already see this?
No
Hard Feelings. Movie. I saw that with Mila Kunis. Yeah.
Well, I get it confused with anyone but you. So just the title is God. That. So yeah. So I'm not always the biggest Jennifer Lawrence fan, but I thought she was really good in this. I like the premise of it. It was not a really likable premise when you think about it in, the realistic terms of a mom or a person who's in their 30s, dating somebody's kid because they've asked them to. So it's a little weird, but I just thought it was super quirky, and she played the role really well. There was nothing, too off-putting about it, even though it feels like it should be an off-putting situation. The dad, though, freaked me out. Matthew
Broderick with the long hair.
Yeah. It was the hair, right? That's what it was. It was the hair that freaked me out.
He said some I don't remember the details. That's a movie I don't remember the details, but I remember really laughing a lot during that one. I really enjoyed No Hard Feelings. Did you have any memories, Nicole?
Not really.
No hard feelings? Or
one of the last movies you saw in theaters. I mean, not intentionally, but, you don't really go there very often anymore.
I remember seeing it, yeah. I remember liking it, but I can't remember the exacts right now. I remember she was naked.
It was in the theaters?
Oh, yeah, it was in the theaters. Yeah, I remember she got naked, but it wasn't like an exploitative naked. It was like she beats the shit out of people while she's naked, like, and it's not like filmed like sexy at all. It's her just like beat, like, it was very funny. Like, just go for it, yeah. He's good too. The kid was good too. I remember. Like, I remember him actually keeping up, like, legitimately, and like he's got some really good scenes.
And really believable, I thought. And you know that I don't like gratuitous nudity, and so you would think that maybe I would have thought that for this. No,
it's all about the way they sell it.
Really wasn't. I mean, I wanted her to, kick all those kids' ass completely naked. That was just perfect. So.
No, I'm glad you appreciated the context setup, and it wasn't just a blind nudity that was a problem. That's important,
right? Yeah. And I don't really usually, go for like adults beating kids up, but in this context,
I guess it's okay with Jennifer Lawrence does all these things with the kids for some reason. I guess I don't know. We just kind of it's because I guess we trust it's coming from an okay place. She's not gonna really do anything horrible, right? Like it's not gonna get so bad, right? So.
No, not so bad.
Yeah.
So that's my first one.
Starting us off with a streaming comedy from the. Do you remember where that is now? Did you see it on a plane?
No, I saw it streaming. So what? Hulu maybe.
It does help if we know the streaming platforms that these things come from. But that's it's.
I didn't even know the name, so I mean, really, I feel like I'm pulling a Jess. I'm channeling Jess
coming in from our week off of coming in hot with the
exactly.
Nicole, we saw some things recently. Did you want to transition us?
Sure. I'm just thinking about something real quick.
Okay.
When's the last time that I was on here?
Last episode? I can look.
No, it's fine. I just don't remember if I've ever talked about some of these things or not.
I sent you a little cheat sheet earlier.
Oh, I know, I'm looking at it, but I thought of something else on my own.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
Sure.
But I feel like time doesn't mean anything recently.
That's interesting.
Right? Like, things are just
right?
Things are
right?
Things are just going along. I don't even know what day it is most of the days. I'm not preluding into anything. I'm just being honest. I don't really know.
Yeah, this isn't about to be like a time travel movie. And you know who else didn't know who else was going on? It was Leo in Inception.
I don't disagree with you on the time situation right now. The last couple of weeks have just been one long day for me. So
yeah, it really has. But yeah, it's May already. Like, it's just weird. I'll pick a comedy that we saw.
Okay.
I forget what streaming it's on, so sue me. But I actually liked it. It was 80 for Brady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did watch that one. 80 for Brady.
We were looking for something to watch one night, and I think it just came down to that or something worse. So we were like, okay, we'll give it a shot. And I like Jane Fonda. I like we like Sally Field. Oh my god, her name escapes
me. Is Lily
me.
Tomlin?
I love Lily Tomlin. And
I thought you were about to say Lil Tomlin. I'm like, that would be her rapper name.
She would definitely go by Lil Tomlin.
Lil Tomlin.
She definitely would go by that.
It's her street name.
But yeah, so we watched that. That was pretty fun. Not as bad as it could have been. It was just like one of those book club type movies, which I enjoy as well. Just old ladies doing their thing, and Jane Fonda trying desperately to be 30 years younger than she is. And you know what? She's doing great at it. So,
so that's fine.
Yeah, 80 for Brady. It was a nice, fun, enjoyable watch, and based on a true story.
Right.
It was very interesting. The true story it was based on. I'm like, we were literally watching it. I'm like, what a weird thing we're watching right now, because that's literally what my thought was. Because watching it, it's like a kind of a pleasant commercial, like a really long, pleasant series of commercials. Like, it's pretty thin. The jokes are pretty, like, it's like book clubs leftover jokes. Like, they had the book club jokes, and then they made book club the next chapter, and then they had a bunch of leftover jokes, and they're like, shove them in the 80 for Brady movie, because we got the understudies in there. And then all of the things that are in it are like aggressive product placement or cameos, kind of Adam Sandler kind of movie stuff. Except in this one, I did feel like people were nice, and they cared, and they liked to be there, and the things were in good nature, unlike an Adam Sandler film. Not to start doing that again. But, I remember 80 for Brady to be a pleasant commercial, was my experience. Did you see 80 for Brady, okay?
No, but I've been traveling a lot lately, air travel, and it's one of the things that I always kind of hover over and go,
That's a great plane movie.
Yeah, I would think. I mean,
that's probably
I think it's probably like an hour 40, something like that. So it's good timing. But I mean, maybe at some point my finger will stop on it, and I will hit play.
I watched another Diane Keaton movie on a plane. That was the one where
she's not in this. Thank God.
Oh, it's not?
She's in the book
God.
clubs.
Yeah, she's in the book club movies. I'm not going to go down that tangent then, because it's not even worth going down. Instead, I will pivot us. I'm going to pivot us to some films that are in the theaters right now. Then maybe they're gone by the time you're hearing this, but they might still be lingering out there. And it's a couple of monkey-based films. Monkeys?
I was just going to say monkey films.
I don't know if you guys have known this. Monkeys are in right now. They're back. They're having a big moment. And we've got the third or fourth or fifth or whatever number Kong Godzilla, the American version one. Godzilla X Kong, something like that. It's got some... we're not doing great with the titles, but you know what I'm talking about. It's Godzilla and Kong, and it's in theaters. And honestly, not my favorite series of stuff. I go for the monsters, and the human stories are just like so bad that it's like really hard to even get through for the monster stuff. The Japanese Godzilla films, very good at the monster, or very good at the human stuff. Not so much the Americans with the human stuff. But this one, the Kong stuff, Godzilla Kong, the Kong stuff, not bad. Kong, he has a rival. He's got this big swaggery rival with a scar, and he's got there's this whole inner world. You thought the inside world from the last one was dumb. Now there's an inside world inside the inside world, and there's like a whole colony of like Kong people. There's a mini Kong, and he's like a dick. And Godzilla sleeps in the Colosseum in Rome, and the Italian government gets mad because they're like, "Oh, he is sleeping in the Colosseum. He's messing up in our apartment." Like, I'm like, wow, they are really going off the rails here, and I'm here for it. So they're going in the right direction as far as not caring about being real anymore. They've really leaned into being terrible and ridiculous.
It's your description makes it sound terrible and ridiculous. So
all that's the good parts. Yeah. The human stuff, like Brian Tyree Henry, our boy. I don't know. Like, he's just collecting the paychecks. I suppose he's in that phase of his career because, like,
who is it?
Brian Tyree Henry, our boy.
Brian Tyree Henry. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's. I've never seen him mail in so hard. Like, it's just tough. It's tough watching the human story. Rebecca Hall, completely. I mean, everyone's just cashing their checks. There's a guy who's like. He's like the Harry Connick Jr. character in Independence Day to a T. Freaking guy looks like Mike McCarthy driving the tank. Like, the human story choices. We just didn't need to do that. But the big kaiju fights. We're going in the right direction with the ridiculousness, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any responses to Kong? You guys, any interest in Kong Godzilla? Have I sold it to you?
No.
No.
Nicole, I don't know. Once it comes on streaming, you don't want to see Godzilla, or I want to do a quick little minor spoiler. Kong uses Mini Kong as a nunchuck against other Kongs. Grabs it by his leg and whips him around into the other Kongs, and they're getting.
Well, now that you've told me that, I do not need to see it at all.
Oh, there's that's one thing, but there's more things in there. And before I give the mic back to Mom. Okay, I'll just do another monkey-based film that's out right now, Monkey Man, directed by Dev Patel. People are calling this Slumdog Millionaire John Wick kind of film, and they would not be wrong. Just call it that. It's very good, very high impact. Charlton Copley's in it as well, who's a guy I love. He's that South African guy. He's in District 9. He was in Beast with Idris Elba. We saw a couple years ago. He's you'd recognize him, character actor, but Dev Patel, directorial debut, and the main character, and is just like really good underdog fighting the big bad guys. In this one, it's this religious leader, rich guy, whatever, fraud kind of guy, and it's just really well shot, well made. Like it lags a little by the end. I'm seeing a lot of people give this like 4 or 5 stars, and yeah, wouldn't be wrong to do so. It's the Year of the Monkey. There's also another Planet of the Apes movie coming, which I haven't seen yet, but Monkey Time! Go to theaters and see monkey films.
Monkey Man is not really about a monkey at all? He
wears a monkey mask, and he gets like beat up by other fighters. I don't want to even give too much away, because the less you kind of know and going, the better. He's an underdog kind of guy. He had a horrible thing happen to him in the past, and it's that kind of story, and he's got to get like the revenge. So you kind of know where it's going. It's a John Wick kind of thing. But, like, the visual storytelling and, like, the characters, like, the emotions of the fights and, like, of the characters in between the things, the way, like, there's a lot of clever, like, little gags and, like, setups, and it's just a lot of really quick, good filmmaking. And you're in it. Like, you're like, really, like, in there with this guy. It's not so much, like wacky characters, per se. It's more like a feeling kind of movie. But, yeah, Monkey Man. Positive. Very good film.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got? I don't know where to go from that, but I guess I'll stop on Amazon Prime, because now that I know that you really want to know where people are getting their choices.
Yeah, as much as the show is a service in any way.
Yeah, this is going to be real quick, because I've only seen half the movie, and it's Roadhouse. And I am not quite sure. What's that?
I'm glad someone did it. I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
Roadhouse. Right. I have never seen the original Roadhouse, whereas it's played very frequently in my household, but I've never seen it. So the reason I think we only saw half so far is because there was only so much time where I could be like this. Here that this movie is not like the original. This is very different from the original. This is not the same movie as the original.
Is that a good thing?
So I have no idea, because I've never seen the original, but I kept hearing that. So half of Roadhouse is down. The big half is coming. It seems like it's Jake Gyllenhaal versus bad people to save the Roadhouse bar.
I would say Roadhouse. He's a bouncer, and he protects the bar. Is that what Roadhouse is? I've never seen the original.
He's hired as a bouncer, but he's, more than that, he's like an MMA fighter, which I'm pretty sure that wasn't what Patrick Swayze was in the OG. So
sure.
He's an MMA fighter that nobody wants to fight, because he's just a lethal killing machine. So
who's the big bad he's got to take down in the movie? Like, is it like does he have to fight?
It's a biker gang.
Oh, it's a biker gang. Okay.
It's a biker gang, but it's run by a guy it's run by the guy in Game Night who was like the dumb guy that was dating the dumb guy in Game Night that was dating like the older woman. They were always in the backseat of the car.
I'm looking up the cast right now.
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name at all. So, and that's the only thing that I know him from. He's really the big bad. And
is Conor McGregor's in this?
Conor McGregor is in this because it's MMA. Yeah. It's very strange.
Oh, no. He says this is the sheriff character.
It's a blondish guy.
Oh, Billy Magnuson?
Sure.
He plays Ben Brandt. It's either that or Post Malone.
That's right. No, Post Malone's in it too. It's pretty. As for what, that's actually the most interesting thing is like spot the person. Like it was like, oh my god, I think that's Post Malone, and then Lloyd is like, that's definitely that MMA guy, and I'm like, Conor McGregor, and I was like, yeah, Conor McGregor. So, I mean, God knows what's gonna happen at the end. I'm pretty sure I know, but yeah. So half of Roadhouse, and then the other thing that I watched on Prime is a movie from about 4,000 years ago, and it's a Cary Grant movie called His Girl Friday. Loved it.
Oh, I love His Girl Friday. Yeah, talky, super talky, like almost
super talky,
almost too talky, like almost too fast. I'm like I was like, oh, did they speed this up because of an error in like the original copy or something, or like I'm like it's so. And unless I'm thinking of the wrong movie, I was like, I remember it being like so fast, like as far as like, I guess here. Oh, what you say? I guess like is that like
he's a journalist, and his ex-wife is also working with him, and he's
So they're already that kind of. I remember it being like the most mid-Atlantic or not. What is that called? Transatlantic-y, like
yes,
the most like. I'm going to say this on
very Katharine Hepburn without being Katharine Hepburn. I think it's Rosalind Russell who's in that. So so that was my prime. That was my prime watching.
How about that, Nicole? Are you intrigued by Roadhouse or His Girl Friday? Does that sound like something you're going to check out?
I don't think so.
No.
Not really. What are you going to put on the table? Because I want to know. I'm writing down some things because I do need some.
The next one, Monkey Man.
The next
I did write down Monkey Man.
We've already seen the next thing that I was going to bring up because I think that you actually recommended it to me.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it.
It's not a movie. It's a show.
Of course not. I love it.
And it's originally a British show, and then it became a US version.
Oh, God.
And it's a reality show.
Yeah, I did forget about this.
No.
I totally forgot about this.
And it is The Traitors.
Oh.
I don't remember if I talked about this last
we have
time.
not. Malakay brought it up at our lot, and this is what the catch-up shows are good for. We can carry these little threads through. But yes, The Traitors.
Yes.
Malakay brought it up. Nicole, you have not talked about The Traitors.
Traitors,
as we call it. Traitors.
The
Traitors.
First, before I get into that, I have to say I just did something really bad.
Oh.
I was snooping around for someone that's going to do my hair this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's my first time going to this salon. And I accidentally hit add friend.
Oh.
On Facebook.
Oh. Oh, that's not so bad, is it?
Yes, it is.
No.
Because her last name is not in the email that they sent me. So.
Oh. So you had to snoop.
You had to do some Nancy Drew work.
Okay.
But I did hit cancel immediately, so I think
it might be okay. Honestly,
retract it, right?
Unless she hit it right then, it actually does retract it. I've tested this between emails. Like it actually, like you will. If you grab it quick enough, it actually can retract the notification.
I did it like immediately.
Yeah,
Are you talking personal page?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless she's got her, her notifications on and she wants to know immediately that somebody's...
Yeah, unless she was literally looking at her phone right there and the notification...
Like, what do I say if she brings it up?
She's not going to call you out. I mean, think about if someone did that to you, like, you wouldn't call them out, would you? You would just ignore it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably going to ignore it.
I'd say if she called it out, you might have to find a new hairdresser.
Well, this is a new hairdresser anyway, so, I mean, no harm, no foul.
Well, I know, but you don't want to start on that, like, on the wrong foot, so.
It's just
not with your, hairdressers are very personal thing, so.
You know what? I don't know that world, so.
No, you don't.
I hope I retracted it in time.
You did.
But anyway,
otherwise,
so that's just how.
Go back to Traitors.
That's how my life's going. Yeah, Traitors. I don't know if you ever saw a show from the early 2000s called Whodunit, but it was the same, very similar premise of someone was killed off each night, and we had to determine by the end of the show who done it. And they vote people out. Pretty much the exact same premise. But I have like distinct memory watching that show with my mom, and I just loved it. I loved the mystery. I loved the Clue vibes. I wish there were more Clue-esque shows. And then Traitors came out, and there was 3 seasons.
Yes.
The British one is just random people. The US-based ones are both has-been reality washed-up stars.
So people from Survivor, I recognized.
If that's your thing, then it's definitely for you. There's a lot of Road Rules challenge people on it, and Below Deck, and whatever else you could think of. So, if that doesn't bother me as much as if I were to watch like a Real Housewives type of show, I wouldn't watch it. But this with the additional aspects of the clue vibes and who did the murders and picking out what the little things are, I really enjoy that. So that was really fun.
It's a game show, as opposed
to
exactly a Bravo show. So
exactly,
there's an Australian version if you know.
The thing about a lot of reality shows, they'll do like the two different like US, UK, Australia, New Zealand. Like they do that all the time. I found like the UK version of Traitors, because I kind of watched it with you in the background, way more enjoyable than the US one. The has-been reality stars, not interesting at all. Like too annoying. But the original one, there's something so melodramatic about those like normal people like begging to be seen.
Well, I know exactly why that would be.
Yeah.
The reality shows are obviously actors, and they know how to run the camera. And those other Joe Schmoes, they're trying to win like money to to win a prize,
better their lives, or whatever.
They're more regular, make friendships and connections, whatever. And these other people are like, I don't care, I'll be on the next show if I don't win.
Yeah, even though I'm sure like the other, like they're both produced in a way. The one where the people are so aggressively fake and like that's their shtick, is to be like crazy. I'm like, that's not interesting. I'm much more interested in seeing like pretty regular people have to do this kind of tough thing, and then if they're gonna play to the camera a little bit, that's fine. But like I'd prefer that to like the people on the one with Alan Cumming are like Madame Tussauds museum. Like they freak me out. They're so manufactured, and like and it's just like unsettling. Like I can't watch those people.
Yeah.
But Traitors. Nice. Cool.
Traitors.
All right, well, if you don't have any other at this moment, I can talk about a pair of horror movies I've seen that were also in theaters, although they were a little bit smaller, so they might be gone now, but I think they'll be streaming soon if they aren't already. One is from my boy, the immortal, the unstoppable, the prolific Nicolas Cage. And he is in a film called Arcadian. And Arcadian is a post-apocalyptic movie, and you're like, well, I've seen a couple of those before. I'm like, yeah, you probably have. And this one is, he's got his twin sons. They're not like identical twins, but they're twin sons, played by Maxwell Jenkins and Jaden Martell. Jaden Martell is one of the It kids, so you'd probably maybe recognize him. Yeah. Maxwell Jenkins is on another TV show too, but they're his sons, and they live in like a little farmhouse. And there's no one around, and like it's kind of I Am Legendy, where like during the day you can go out and they do like farm activity, chop wood, blah blah blah, and then at night you gotta like hunker down, put up the traps because the creatures are coming. And the creatures in this are like you don't really see them very much. They're kind of a vampire mixed with like the creatures from Attack the Block, if you've ever seen that, the big furry alien creatures. They're a very like pitch black alien underground humanoid, like they used to be humans. It's not super clear, and that's kind of part of the problem too, is that like Nicolas Cage, he gets hurt at some point, he's got to go away from the movie, so it becomes the two sons and then their journey. There's another human tribe that they talk to a little bit, but it's separate. There's a woman there that's one of the, or I guess a girl that there's a love interest of one of the kids. So there's some stuff going on. It's not nothing, but it is all stuff you've seen before. Little AI generated movie. So Arcadian, it's one where Nicolas Cage cares. It's not like one of those like fake movies that you see that he's in, where it's like, oh, this is for international audiences. Like this was made in like a weird soundstage basement in a weekend, and like no one's really. It's got a bunch of randos from like 70s in it. Like it's just, this is like a real movie. This is like a real cared for movie. It's just not great. It's just okay. So Arcadian, if you have a chance, you're a Nicolas Cage completionist. It's run of the mill, but it's okay. And speaking of, I think I said AI generated, Late Night with the Devil is another new movie that's out, starring David Dastmalchian, and people know him as Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad, or he's also in the Ant-Man movies. If you've seen Marvel movies, he's like in a small role, but he's a character actor-y guy. He plays a Johnny Carson type. His late night
small
show
role, an Ant-Man. That's funny.
Hey, there you go. How about that?
He plays an ant.
Had to say it. Yeah.
Dustin Mulchy in small role in Ant-Man. And in this one, he's playing a Johnny Carson knockoff type, and it's a found footage-y kind of movie. It breaks some of those rules. Not breaks, I guess it chooses to expand that format some, but for the most part, it's shot found footage. It's a taping of the night that the whole audience got massacred and something crazy happened, and you don't know what happened watching it. So you're watching this whole thing knowing something bad's going to happen, but you're watching just like a Johnny Carson episode kind of thing from the 80s, and it's got Exorcist. It's an Exorcist episode. She's going to bring on a little girl and a mom and going to have an exorcist performed. There's a hypnotist that he has on. There's a skeptic guy who's like, I don't believe any of this stuff. And then there's a guy who speaks to the dead, and he's like a fake guy, and he's like, I get a reading from over here, and no, and then all of a sudden, I get the real reading, and then you're like, something's going on. Like, so you get little hints dropped in. It's just a really, I just haven't said if I liked it or not. Late Night with the Devil is really, really clever, interesting, and has a lot of interesting things to say. But certain people are not enjoying it at all because there are a couple of images in there that are entirely AI generated. And that is a new thing we will be seeing is AI generated content in films and art and what is allowed and what's morally acceptable. And already, this is like, I'm watching this movie like, this is a really, like a 4.5 star movie, really well made. And then people who are admittedly enjoying the movie are saying, I do not accept this because I do not like this.
That's a big thing that's going around, and sorry if I'm stealing anyone's thunder here.
No, I was about to ask you guys your opinion. This is perfect.
Yeah, we don't have Netflix right now, so none of our me and Brennan's things will be Netflix, but I'm pretty certain I just heard that there's a documentary on Netflix right now where some of the shots of the evidence photos or like real life photos from the story are have Photoshop AI generation to them, and a lot of people are like, what is even the point of doing that? It's just a photo to move along the story. Why are they doing that?
Well, if it's a documentary, is that an okay thing to do? Like, that's part of it.
That's a good point, actually. I haven't thought about the ethics of using it in a document. More of like using it at all.
In a regular film, how different is it than? I mean, I know it's different, but we've been watching CGI forever, which is not.
Well, I guess the point is CGI employs thousands of real computer artists to do a job, whereas AI is a machine that does it.
Doesn't the AI generation take away some of the validity of the documentary if everything that they're showing us is not part of it?
I would agree, but I think documentary we would say so. But I'm almost focusing more on just a narrative film where like your basic like you're not relying on it to be objective reality, I suppose. Like in a movie like this, where it's just a regular horror movie, they use a couple AI generated images. Are you guys sitting there where you currently are as people in the world? Are you like, I don't really like that. I'm not about that. I don't think that's. There should be something stopping this. Or are you like what do you? I don't know. What do you think?
I think in the realm of films, I don't have an issue with it because there are usually in CGI. There's going to be other people doing the work behind it, but that's the reality of AI, and it's going to seep into all of the different pieces of our lives like that. This is the least amount of problems we're going to have with it.
So you're kind of like this is like small potatoes, like not even enough to care about thing. You don't
because I mean you're talking about I realize that the entertainment world employs a lot of people, but it's the entertainment world.
And you got to think about the people who are speaking out. Anyway, it's a small movie. Artists are going to speak out. Like there are already people who feel
exactly. If it affects you, you're going to speak out about it. If it doesn't, you're probably not going to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just curious your guys' opinion because I take a very I don't mourn like the death of the horse farmer take where like things move on and like you just have to like. You just have to. Like you don't get a like you don't get to just say, there is no holding back. Like, that's just never worked ever for anybody in the history of movement of the world. So, like, get on board. Like, I didn't know if either of you would come on here and be like, you know what, AI is no good. Keep it out of my films. And I understand your documentary take. That's interesting, but it sounds like
the documentary is a problem.
It sounds like neither of you have a general opposition to AI being used to assist filmmaking, even if it's at the expense of jobs.
No.
Interesting. Really. I wanted to hear your take on that. That was interesting. Do you guys have any other? I have a couple more movies to go, but I think you guys probably have some more as well. Do you have a okay?
I mean, I have two more movies. One is one I saw on Netflix, but I know it was both of them were released in theaters. But I saw on Netflix is Anyone But You, which is the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, so someone finally saw it. Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. Perfunctory.
Perfunctory.
Yeah.
Could you use a different word?
That's basic.
There we go.
So, okay. Is perfunctory too big?
It's funnier, too, that the word you used instead is basic. That's... and we're talking about Anyone But You, the Glenn Powell, Sydney Sweeney movie, which... There you go.
Yeah, I just can't think of a more basic movie.
It's so like I see the trailer, I look at the poster, like that's
basic.
It, right? Like there's no. It's
it's perfunctory next time you think about that.
Is it the young version of what's that one we watched with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, where they were in Hawaii?
No,
that one was terrible because they were mean. Like in that movie, I remember them being like the worst people ever, and like then they were being like celebrated at the end.
I'm thinking of Glenn Howerton.
You think Glenn Howerton is Sydney Sweeney?
It's like that's a really big age gap. I think
it's like
I don't know how
it's the implication because of the implication.
I feel
that's weird.
Glenn Howerton versus Glenn Sweeney are already a big enough age gap for me. So.
I just watched Blackberry again today. Glenn Howerton's so good in that, but very different Glens.
Yeah. And then Argylle.
Oh, Jess gave us a lowdown on that last time, and
yes.
Yeah, you said you were excited. Okay.
I was so excited to see. I wanted to see it in the theaters. It was one of the previews that we got here in Maine in front of every movie for like 6 months. Same preview. I wasn't getting any new information every time, just the same preview. And it has all the markings of everything that I would like in a movie. And I was so bored in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's first of all, it's 2 hours long, way too long for a movie like this, and it's all supposed to be action packed, and there's twists here and twists there, and who's this and who's that, and I was just like, I do not give a shit.
It looks impossible to care about. Like it looks like you can't like if you sat and watched it, like there just wouldn't be. You couldn't latch on to something. Like it just seems. It seems so slick, and too slick to grab.
Yeah, and you're going to hate that the best part of this is the fact that Henry Cavill is in it.
Oh,
he's not a real person.
He's not a real person.
he's not a real person, but he is, quote, Argylle in the movie, right? And that's actually the best part of the movie because it's when how it works out is that she thinks that she's writing a book and she has an agent Argylle. So when she's writing the book, you can see the scenes that she's writing. And then it also starts to filter into her real life. And that's the only thread that's kind of fun to watch in the movie is that you don't know when he's going to show up to be her or whatever. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what.
Do they explain why his hair's like that?
No.
Because that's like, that needs explanation. You don't just walk around with that. That's like a what? Like, what the hell? What?
Because, I mean, they kind of do. I guess in the beginning they talk about actually the character of Argylle, and then he takes on the physical persona of the character that she's writing in the book. So she has the cover of the book and it's got the guy on the front. And the thing is, the guy on the front, he has a flat top, but it looks a little less like severe than
I'm telling you, like
flat top
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
He's like the first AI generated person, and like here to tell you, he's the most boring thing ever. Like I've just never, ever, ever.
I don't think he's boring, and I don't think he's boring.
When is he not boring?
His character is the best part of this movie. Like, that's... And the thing is it's because he comes and goes unexpectedly, so you don't know ever when he's going to show up, because you don't know whether it's going to be her as Argylle or somebody else, or it's just, it's hard to explain. It's not hard to explain. It's just not, wow. It's just
not worth it.
No, and it's not worth 2 hours. They really, stretching out these movies is a mistake. So, that's all I have for movies. I have a long list of TV things that we don't need to go through like one by one but if you want to watch, we're in the middle of Shogun.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting. The Tourist makes me never want to visit Australia, but it's good.
Gotta do Australia, though. Gotta get every continent,
Yeah, but this takes place out in the middle of the dusty part of Australia.
Ooh,
no, thank you.
No, stick to the coast.
Yeah. The Peacock Apples Never Fall, really disappointing. And
Peacock Apples Never Fall. Wait, what?
On Peacock.
Oh.
Apples Never Fall.
I thought you were saying Peacock Apples Never Fall, and I'm like, is that on Amazon Prime? Peacock Apples Never Disney Plus, streaming on Hulu.
Oh wait, now I'm just gonna get Peacock Apple.
That's what I thought you said. I thought you were saying Peacock Apple. Like I was like, are you like combining streaming services into a movie? Like, what are you saying right now? I didn't even know what you were saying. Peacock Apple Disney Plus.
I think it has like 8 episodes or something like that, and it really could have done with just being 4. Another we stretched this far too long, and I guess it's made from
the thing is, you have the power to make things as long as or as short as you want. Like I've seen things that are 2 episodes, 5 episodes. It doesn't matter. Like you can do whatever you want. Why make 8 episodes if you only have 4 episodes of material? Like just make the best thing.
I thought you were asking me why I do those things.
Oh no, I mean
do those things.
It's more of a rhetorical. Like we live in the world now where like there's like we used to live in like the TV show must be 22 minutes and 31 seconds long or whatever. Like now it's like make the content, make the length fit the story, and like it does not matter. Just make the best story, and then the length will you'll figure out the format for the length.
I feel like Apple TV, though, you have to have 8 episodes. Like, that's the rule.
Oh, is that their rule?
It's an 8 episode, kind of thing.
Well,
and the last one I want to bring up is called The Gentleman.
Oh, another Guy Ritchie thing.
Yeah, based on the Guy Ritchie movie. Watch it.
It's good?
I think it's good.
It
has Theo James in it from White Lotus. I don't know.
That's okay. Max. I think I say that because I feel like that's where I said, oh no, Netflix is, we do not have that yet. Well, we're going to get that soon, actually, so we'll be coming.
I don't know. It's very, it's very Guy Ritchie, right? And it's just, it takes all the stuff that you would love about Traitors and puts it in.
Wait.
Puts it in. It's a cat. It's built around an estate in England. The whole thing is, and Theo James is the main character. But I don't want to ruin any of it for you because it's.
When you say trade it, like, are you saying like it's that to the level where Nicole could actually enjoy it? Because I would watch a show that Nicole could enjoy that's TV. But like, if you're just saying more aesthetically, then that's that's not really.
It's not. Well, I mean, it's not like Traitors in that it's a mystery, but there's a lot of twists and turns in it. Nicole might like it.
Okay, I'll give it a shot then.
I'll say your recommendations have been okay. I mean, Nicole didn't love The Bear, although we watched both seasons of The Bear and she seemed to like it while we were watching it, but I guess in retrospect she didn't really like The Bear. But
it's fine.
Yeah,
they're filming season 3 too, and I don't know. We'll see how that
goes. The thing is, like, it's like, what do you... I think at the end of 2, though, you actually have a path forward. Like, at the end of 1, I was like, there's nothing to do. Like, what do you do? And then 2, I was like, oh, well, there actually is something to do, I guess. Like, it's not quite the same thing, but there is something to do here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Nicole, what do you have?
Sophomore slump.
You have your wrap up films and movies. I have 2 movies to anchor us with at the end, but yeah. What else have you seen in May or March?
Yeah, can I just read down this list that you gave me?
I suppose you can, if you'd like to.
Why were you going to pick some of these?
No, actually, the two I have
writing lists.
No, I gave Nicole a cheat sheet just to help her remember. I try to help all my co-hosts remember. Like at the end of the year, when I give you guys cheat sheets for our draft show and our top 5 shows, and all of our shows. Yeah, no, you can read it down and give your thoughts.
Okay, I'll start with Veep on Max.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't finished that. I could in the future. It's funny. It holds up. I like all the actors. I like all the characters. Really funny. It's dry humor, which I really love. And if you're into more modern things, I don't know what year this came out, but like, Always Sunny's still going, Parks and Rec, all those types of things, then I think you would really enjoy Veep as well. Just funny situation.
Yeah, it's comedy. Like mid 2010s show, so like that era, yeah. And
I think it still pertains to how things go right now.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, pretty good. I think we got through about 2 seasons or so of that. Quiet on Set, obviously, is huge right now. Still, there's still stuff coming out about that. If you haven't watched that 4 parts documentary series,
also on Max.
That's also on Max. If you are like me, a 30-year-old person that watched television growing up, you'll probably be familiar with most of these people and that are talking in this documentary. And even if you had children or cousins or whatever that used to watch stuff like this, you would probably be familiar with a lot of these people. And really, it's 2024. These things are going to start coming out, as we see in other parts of mainstream celebrities and things happening, that we didn't know about or chose not to know about. It's all coming out now. So, it's sad.
Looking at you, Diddy.
Yep, exactly. It's sad, and it's something that we were so blind to when we were younger, but I feel really proud of these people. I don't know them obviously, but just proud of people that can go through this in their young life and speak up on it. Like that's really something admirable. So I'm glad these people are given the platform to do so. Very interesting. You should watch that.
Does it explain Amanda Bynes?
She's a highlight of one of the episodes.
So she's in archival footage. I don't think she's in it, but
they don't talk to her. No,
the Drake Bell part is the best part for me. Like as far as most interesting.
Because you were Drake and Josh.
I was a Drake and Josh kid. Yeah, and now.
Yeah.
And now. Yeah. Well.
And now.
Yeah. I mean, stuff's still coming out about that now. Like something came out 8 hours ago about Dan Schneider and his. But he's planning on suing them. The producers of this documentary. But anyway, and then the last one I was going to bring up, we watched 2 documentaries. One I don't think was worth really talking about, Brandy Hellville, about the store Brandy Melville. It's one of those American, what is it, Abercrombie and Fitch type of documentary where the owner sucks and all the people there fat shame, and it's quick, fast fashion labor law issue. So yeah, that one is, if you're interested in that, it's fine, but otherwise it's pretty made.
I'd say if you saw the Abercrombie and Fitch one, I would say that's not even that good, and that's better than this one. Like that one was like a 2.5 star, and this was this was really bare bones. I thought that was pretty weak.
Yeah. It's nice to still bring light to it, because I bet, the people that shop at these types of stores are young girls that are impressionable, and hopefully this puts a message out in the other direction.
I guess.
So I remember nice to have it, but it's just boring.
I remember the girls in it not seemingly it seemed unfocused. Like the documentary was they're bad, but they didn't have the right, they couldn't narratively focus.
But they're still cool.
Yeah, and some of the people in it too were Yeah, but I still liked working there. Like, it really wasn't even every time they had like the racist things, the girls were like, but we liked we liked working there. Like every time they had the body image things, you're like, yeah, but I liked looking cool. And I'm like every person they talked to, except for like the scholarly people who were like, this is just so bad. I'm like, well, yeah, but we literally saw people like academics in those from other talking head documentaries. I'm like, oh, that's literally that woman from that other documentary. I'm like, we're just recycling now. Like this is like.
For sure, she's in both. Yeah, the reporter or whatever. So yeah, that's that one. And then the last one I wanted to bring up, which I actually recommended to someone else at work, because it gave me such a reaction, and I know Brennan had a reaction to it too. It's another documentary. I think there's many about this subject, but the one we watched was 4 Hours at the Capitol.
Yeah.
Which was a documentary explaining and showing a lot of visuals of the January 6th Capitol riots, insurrection, whatever you like to call it.
Very nicely with Civil War, I will say.
So much footage I haven't seen, not that I've done my research on it, but things that aren't shown on TV and aren't talked about, I think, are highlighted in this. Really scary stuff, and it's just something that is hard to fathom that happened. And it's one of those days where you think back and we're like, oh, I remember when I was watching that on TV, and it was really weird to watch it unfold, and now to go back and see actually what was happening is pretty frightening. So I recommend that one. It pulls in a direction a little more cop heavy than other people heavy, in my opinion. So I mean, if you have a certain political stance, maybe you won't feel the same way I do. But overall, the story was very it was hard to watch, but a good watch.
The battle of the battle of the tunnel or whatever, where the protesters are like, or whatever the fuck you want to call them, the Trump people in the tunnel were pushing on the Capitol Police, and they're like, people are like crowd surfing into that. Oh my god, it's crazy. Like it looks barbaric. It's shocking. Only like what, 1 or 2 people died. Like it is insane that this was not. Like, okay, you and I watched Napoleon. It's crazy it wasn't like Napoleon. It was crazy that it wasn't like an utter bloodbath. Like, and I saw some criticisms of again, always the criticisms like, it's not harsh enough on blaming. They're like, why is it not showing the
who's the bad guy in Civil War?
I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing all the time. I'm like, yeah, but we're really not pointing the finger quite hard enough. I'm like, bruh, just put yourself on the ground there. Put yourself in there as a human for a minute and just imagine what it's like. Don't take all of your preconceived everything in your whole life you've brought into this, literally throw it out the window. You're a human on the ground and the shit's going down. That's literally it. There's nothing else. And like this documentary, I'm like, oh wow, like we were X, Y, and Z away from way worse things happening. And like, oh, like, thank God these people are more. That's another thing is like, it lets the Capitol, the protesters talk, or the rioters, the insurrectionists, the whatevers. It lets them talk. And then you're like, any sensible person after listening to them talk for like a minute, you're like, oh, it's a fucking child. It's a fucking idiot child that doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they want. They're an idiot, angry child. Like any normal person would hear what what they purport to stand for and be like, what a bunch of like losers! Like they don't know. Like there's.
Do you feel like that's just a commonality of people who get together as a group and don't really know what they're.
I think it's because they just want. They just want other people to tell them that they're right for being for sucking. I don't know what it is. It's like, please tell me I'm right.
How do you differentiate that between what's going on like on college campuses right now? Like.
How do I
feel like I feel like it's just it's 100% mob mentality. You can't. The more people you have that are just doing the wrong thing, you start to feel like this isn't the wrong thing. These are my people, and this is, you know what I mean. Like it just becomes a tribe of craziness.
Yeah, they show that quite a bit in the film, and in multiple ways. Like both getting more involved in the protest. And also, there's a point where they they help one of the cops because one guy spoke up and said, this is the right thing to do. And everyone's like, okay, it's the right thing to do.
Honestly, that guy, the shaman, the QAnon shaman, the guy that everyone is like, oh, he's like, he's in this for a couple of things. And there's like, obviously that guy's a piece of shit. I'm not a fan of that guy, but there's some points where he's talking to another Capitol police officer who it doesn't seem to be like in charge of everything. He's just a guy who's currently talking. They even have a guy who's like, I was in the room when they went in there and I was just like, okay, you're in here, guys, like just don't do anything crazy. And then they show like a bunch of Congress people like like hunching under the benches, and then at one point they leave and they are interviewing one of the representatives. They're like, we were in there for hours, and then they just left. I'm like, I don't know if they knew we were in there. Like, I don't know if they knew. Like, they just came in and yelled and then left. They had no plan. Like, and that's what reassures me about not just them, but like any groups of organized protesters. Is like they're dissatisfied and they can organize into this hive mind, but they cannot govern. Right. They have no real goals other than I am unhappy. Which is helpful. It's helpful for the leaders to understand that large swaths of people are unhappy, but they have no actual ability to govern or create a situation that would make anyone prosper or do better. So, but
no, I don't feel like those people are any type of people like that are not problem solvers. Like that's
what I'm saying. It's like they may point out problems, but they are unable to actually do anything. And yeah, that's 4 Hours at the Capitol is good documentary. It's all I got. Do you have any more, Nicole?
No.
We're running a little long, so I'm going to shave mine short to Love Lies Bleeding, I saw, which I really want to do a review on because it deserves it. So I'll just be brief. It's a Rose Glass film. She directed Saint Maud a couple years ago, and it's better Drive Away Dolls. It feels like a Coen Brothers movie, and it's about two lesbians falling in love, and they have there's drugs and criminals, and the one's a bodybuilder. It's just a really interesting.
Oh, is that the Kristen Stewart movie?
Kristen Stewart, yeah. Kristen Stewart is the one, and then the bodybuilding woman is Katie O'Brien. She's so good. Like, I can't wait to see her in more things. Like, first of all, she's this crazy, huge, imposing presence, and she's like a drifter, and she comes in, and like Kristen Stewart's like a gym. She's like a worker at a gym. She unclogs toilets. She's real low on the totem pole, and they start like a romance, and then you start finding out, and then she gets like addicted to what's the juicing stuff, like the steroids, like whatever. Like she gets like roid raged out, and Harris is in it, and he has a bunch of bugs, and he's like a criminal with guns and bugs, and he has a bug collection with long hair. And what's his name's Dave Franco's in it, and he abuses Jenna Malone, and he's a piece of shit. So you're like, we got to get Dave Franco. Like, it's just it's good Coen Brothers. It's literally good Drive Away Dolls is the only way I can really describe it. So yeah,
okay.
Love Lies Bleeding. You will not regret. Very good. If that comes out and you or Jess or even Nicole are up for it, that's worth a full review later this year. And then I will close this out with a movie that, of course, deserves its own review, but it's not going to happen on this show. No. It's Dune 2.
Oh, no.
Y'all folks didn't see Dune 2. No one saw Dune 2. No. You see the memes, at least? Anyone?
Not really.
I've seen the memes.
No one's given any Dune 2.
No one is talking about Dune.
Zero people are talking about
Everyone's talking about it. The kids these days, they're clamoring.
Nobody is talking
They're in the streets begging for Dune 2. It's
literally really no one.
I will say this. Dune 2... there's not a really appropriate way to really describe it. If it's still in theaters and you want to go see that, it's worth the spectacle. I liked it more than Dune 1, just because this gave me the characters I enjoyed more in this one. It had more comedy and levity. Javier Bardem is actually like funny in this, and you're like, how can Dune, the most complicated, annoying, irritating thing ever, be funny? And Javier Bardem's like, I'm going to make it funny. And he did it. I wrote down one of the jokes. He says, there's a lot of jokes, but this is very visual. Watch out for the centipedes. Very dangerous. Not the big ones. They're harmless. Just the little ones. But he gestures when he says the little ones to something the size of like a dog. So he's like, don't worry about the big ones. Just the little ones. And the little centipedes are the dog sized ones. Just funny little.
Javier Bardem has really great comedic timing.
He really does.
I mean, he's not known as a comedian, but he has really good comedic timing.
Him and one of Nicole and I's favorite movies, Mother, again, which just like he gets that, which makes it even more baffling that Little Mermaid movies and how bad he is in that, where you're just like, I guess he just isn't meant to be for a green screen because, like,
I was gonna say, I don't think it's baffling because that just was, yeah.
I will say, finally, on the Dune 2, they're gonna make more Dunes. Apparently, this ends on a cliffhanger. And
Nicole, no,
they should just call them Dunes.
Apparently, there's like 5 or 6 books. Dune fans are like really into the Dune lore, and it gets. I'm pro Dune. I still don't love the lore. And Denis Villeneuve, he's one of our best directors. I kind of wish he was making more interesting things. But honestly, if we're going to have a big spectacle blockbuster, if the superhero movies are being moved on from... I mean, I would much rather go see a Dune 2 than a superhero movie or an Independence Day or what was before that. Like, you know, blockbusters are only like 40 or 50 years old. If we're getting this quality of blockbuster going forward, I think that's the best. That's good. That's a pro. I'm pro that. I'm pro Dune.
You're pro Dune. I'm pro Lorna Dune, the cookie. So, yeah.
There's also a guy...
Lorna Dune.
Lorna Dune for life.
That would be crazy.
Incorporate that into actual Dune? I don't know how that would...
It would be... Not incorporate. I need Lorna Dune to take over Dune.
Oh, take over direction of... That would be a very strange pivot to have a whole new creative direction for...
It would be, instead of sand, it would be made of crushed Lorna Dune cookie.
That's their spice. That's the spice melange.
Yes.
The spice meringue.
I don't know what you're talking about because I know I saw the first 2, but I have no idea what you mean. But yeah.
The real best part of Dune is actually this guy on TikTok who makes videos as Shilu the Sandworm, but as Trump. So he's Trump Sandworm, and he's good people of Arrakis. It is I, your beloved Sandworm. No. The people are saying little Paul Atreides, pesky Paul, they're calling him. They say he's bringing up religious fanatics from the south. They're bringing a holy war. I say, folks.
Okay, Brennan, enough.
The Harkonnens, they're bad people, folks. They're nasty.
Yeah.
We don't want to do a business with the Harkonnens, folks. They're terrible.
This just got out of
Dune 2, recommend. Any other things? Yeah. Closing thoughts? I know we ran long, but honestly, we owed a show because it's been a minute. So we'll get back to regular.
Girl Scout cookie time.
What is that?
I'm thinking about Lorna Dunes now. Now I'm also thinking about there's still Girl Scouts outside of the Sam's Club selling cookies. So I haven't had any.
Yeah, it hasn't replaced the Girl Scouts yet, but one day. If you have,
they've replaced the size of the boxes, but yeah, okay.
If you have things to recommend to us, Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost, and you can email the show filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Thank you guys for being on this catch-up episode, Mama K and Nicole.
Okay, see ya.
Learn a Dune for life.
Until next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.